So with this, I'm just going to show you the work and the answers, and then if you have questions about it, we can talk through those. I think this is 7C. So on the side 7C, where it asks you to find the 0, you have to remember that 0 is another word for x-intercept. They're the same. So you are only asked to find your x-intercept for this one. So you would rewrite this as y equals, change that y to 0, and then begin solving for x. Subtract 4 on both sides. Get rid of the fraction by flipping it, multiplying it on both sides, multiplying that in reciprocal is what that's called, to get a positive 6, and then that would be your x-intercept, 6, 0. Questions on that one? Number 2 asks you to find the solution. Now you could have done this algebraically, but it gave you a graph, so you didn't need to do it that way. Solution is another word for x-intercept. So again, you were only looking for one thing. This was your x-intercept, -2, 0. If you put 0, 4 also, it did not ask for your y-intercept, so you should only have one thing there. Questions on that? On the back, number 1, some of you were using Desmos, great. Some of you are using your calculator. If this asks which of these have an intercept of 3, graph these. And if it goes through your x-axis at 3, then it has an x-intercept of 3. But the 3 that did that were g of x equals 2x minus 6, h of x equals x squared minus 9, and this very last one. Anyone need to see that in the calculator or on Desmos? If you were using this on your calculator, I would say put them in individually, one by one, because if you put them all in, they're all going to be black lines overlapping, and you would be able to see which one is which. If you have your own calculator that is colored, then you could put them all in, change the color of each, and see which ones do that. Desmos, same thing. For number 3, it asks you to find both the x and the y-intercept. So it doesn't matter which one you found first. Your x-intercept, you have to do the same thing that we did on the other page for number 1. Change this to y, change it to 0, solve for x, add 4 on both sides, divide both sides by 3. So in this case, we ended up with a fraction. Sometimes that happens. So your x-intercept was 4/3, 0. And then your y-intercept, you didn't really have to do any work for that one because this was given to you in slope-intercept form. So if you find your y-intercept, that would be your order pair, 0, -4. And then for number 4, you just had to circle the y-intercept of this function, which was right here. I also put the order pair, but you didn't have to do that part. Questions on either of those? Okay. So you guys all have a review. I meant to give that to you last class, and I forgot. But we're going to go over any review questions you have on any of the 4 objectives before you guys take your quiz. Yes, you guys have a quiz today, but how you guys take it is going to be different than how we took it last time, but I'm going to explain that here in a bit. Aaron. This one?
No, on the other side.
I didn't actually go over that one, but those are the answers.
I have one.
Alright, so look at the review, look at what questions you want to go over, have questions about, you want to just clarify, make sure that you remember how to do it, anything like that. If the directions are confusing, pick one from that section. 6 is in your slope section, where you are given 2 points and have to find the slope of the line. So you have to use your slope formula, that y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So for 6, if you want to label them, you can. You don't have to, but you can. And then you're going to put each of those numbers into your formula. So y2 is negative 8. We're subtracting a negative 8. All over x2 is negative 20. x1 is 8. We're subtracting. Simplify your numerator and your denominator. Negative 8 minus a negative, that's going to become a plus. And if you were to put that in your calculator, it would cancel each other out to become 0. While your denominator would become negative 28. But 0 over anything is still 0. So your answer would be m equals 0. Make sure we're being specific. Label our answers. M equals, we're looking for slope. Other questions? Alright. 4. With number 4 still in slope, but you're given a graph, so you just have to find 2 points on this line. Does not matter what 2 points you use. There are multiple. Any of those 2 points would be fine to use. Start at one of them, and you're going to count your slope to the next one. Remember, go up or down first, then left or right. So if I start here and go here, I'm going up 2 to the right 4. But I can always simplify, so make sure you do that. So my slope would be 1/2. Aaron, 28. So I'm going to go to number 28 in our intercepts. Is one where you're combining writing equations and finding the intercept. And finding intercepts, they're kind of given, but okay. So there are 2 ways to go about doing this. The easiest would be plot these 2 points at 3, 0 and at 0, 2. Find the slope of those 2 points. So if I start at my y-intercept and I count to my x-intercept, I'm going down 2 to the right 3. Once you have that slope, you're given your y-intercept, so you can write your equation. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2, and that would be your answer. Any others? Make sure you're looking through every question. If you want to just go over it so you remember how to do it, that's fine. 17. Which one were you going to say? 9. 17 and 9. We'll do 9 first, then we'll come back to 17. For number 9, we are asked to find the slope. you're given your slope-intercept form. So you just have to know which of these two numbers is your slope. The number in front of x would be that slope. So your answer would be f equals 1/3. On 17, you're given your slope and your y-intercept, and you have to write the equation of a line. So you just have to put these two together, and your y equals mx plus b. So y equals 7 over 2x plus 5 would be your answer. Other questions we want to go over? 19. For 19 through 22, you're going to be using the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. For 19, if you see that this is your y-intercept, because it's 0, something, and that's your slope, you don't have to do the work. You could put it into your equation, y equals 3 over 2 x minus 1. But if you don't see that and you end up doing the work, you could label these, if that helps you. And then start to put each of these into your formula. Y minus our y1 is negative 1 equals our slope is 3 over 2. In parentheses, x minus our x1 is 0. Then we could start to distribute and make these two negatives a plus. If we distribute, this will become 3 over 2x. This would just become 0. You can put the plus 0. You don't have to. It doesn't matter. And then we have to get y by itself. So we're going to get rid of the 1 by subtracting it to the other side. So y equals 3 over 2x minus 1 is our final answer. We're going to stop there. Take this with you to lunch. See what questions you have when you come back. We'll go over any of those, and then I'll explain how the quiz is going to work. We're going to start with number 25, which is in the graphing section. So for this one, we need to first know that this is our y-intercept. We have to start at that point 4. There is a number in front of x. We just don't see it, but there's an invisible 1. We have to know that's our slope, that it's positive, so we have to know which directions to go to get there. Up and to the right, or down and to the left. Does not matter which one you start with. We're going to go up and to the right one as many times as possible, down and to the left one as many times as possible. Fill up your graph both directions. And then draw a line through all of your points. And draw arrows at the end. Yes. We can do 26. For 26, still in the graphing, start at your y-intercept of positive 2. Your slope, again, is positive, so same directions, up and to the right, or down and to the left. From that y-intercept, you can go up 1 to the right 2 as many times as possible. Down 1 and left 2 as many times as possible until we run out of space. Connect all of your points, make a line, and draw arrows at the end. Other questions we want to see, go over, have questions about? In your intercepts section, if you get something like this, we're trying to find both the x and the y. It does not matter which one we do first. Whichever one you start solving for, you have to put 0 in for the other. So if I am looking for my x-intercept first, I'm going to put 0 in for y. And then you can start to skip steps because this will become 0. The 0 you don't have to write. You can just write what's left. And solve for x. Make sure you still label your x-intercept and y-intercept and write it as an ordered pair though. And then after you find one, you have to find the other. Except the 0 is going to go in the opposite, so now it's going to go in for x if I'm looking for a y-intercept. Again, I can skip a couple steps. This would become 0. I don't have to write the 0, so I can just write what's left. The negative 3y equals 30. And solve for y. Again, label and put that as an ordered pair. Any other questions? For 20, we're using that same formula, the point slope formula. We're given our x1, y1, and m. So we're going to put all of those things into the formula. Y minus our y1 is 2. Our m is 1. In parentheses, we have x minus our x1, is 5. Then we can distribute. So y minus 2 equals 1x minus 5. Get y by itself by adding 2 to the other side. So our equation is y equals 1x, or just x, minus 3. Other questions? 11. Right. Back in our slope, I'm going to do this down here because I don't know how this is. We can't determine what the slope is from here. We have to convert this back to slope-intercept form. So we need to rewrite this. We can get rid of the 2x by subtracting it to the other side. Again, you can put the plus 0, you don't need it though. And then get y by itself by dividing. But that doesn't answer our question. We still have to say what our slope is. So it would be the number in front of x. So m equals negative 2 over 3. And that would be our answer. Other questions? Going once. Going twice. All right. 29. our intercepts. You're given a line, you have to write the intercepts. You have to find what your intercepts are. For this one, they are both the same. You will say your x-intercept, and write it as an ordered pair, is at 0, 0. So is your y-intercept. Any other questions? Same thing, we have to write what our x and y intercepts are. Find them on your graph. Wherever your line crosses your x and y axis, that would be your x and y intercept. So for your x-intercept, that would be at the point 6, 0. Your y-intercept would be at the point 0, 4. Any others? Okay, so as I mentioned, this quiz is not going to be the same as what we did before. It's going to be different in the sense that last time you guys took it for the first time, turned it in, we checked over it, then you could use your notes the second time. This time, it's a collaborative quiz. You can use anyone in the room except for us. You can't use your notes though. So you can use everyone in this room except for us. You can't use your notes. You can still use your calculator. Does anyone have questions on how this quiz is going to work? Aaron. Say that one. Is it only one person? Nope. You can move tables, move your seats, move around. Doesn't have to be just one person. Other questions?
You can play musical chairs if you want.
Oh, that's great. That's what I'm looking for.
Say that one more time.
Do we have to remember
The formulas? Yes, but I will say if you've never looked at the vocab wall, that might help you. Alright, any other questions?
Alright, less daunting, right?